How's it going, everyone? Today I'll be teaching you how to do a frequency map, specifically how to count the occurrence of characters inside of a string. Okay, so I have my string here and I've declared a map, and this is the desired structure that I want. As you can see, it counts that there's 3 P's, 4 A's, 2 B's, so on and so forth. And I'll be showing you 3 different ways to do this in Java. Okay, the first way is the verbose way. Okay, we don't want to do it this way. It takes too much writing. But anyways, it does work. So we have a for loop here. We check if the key exists in the map. We get that key. We add a value +1. And then if it's not in the map, then we add 1. And then we go through the map and it gives us a desired outcome. It's straightforward to do it this way if you're in a crunch, but it does take a lot more time to write. Okay, so let's go on to the second way. So the second way is map.compute method. So we can go through the array here again, and as you can see, it's all in just one line. So we have frequency map.compute, and we compute this certain remapping function. So if you go in the compute method here, it shows you this remapping function. Okay, so you don't have to understand too much about that, but basically you have a key and then we have a remapping function that we pass a lambda to. Okay, so this is the key and the value, and we check if the value equals null. So if we haven't seen this char before in this map, this value will be null. If it is null, set the value to 1. If it's not, then take that value, whatever number it is, and add it to 1. Okay? So that's a pretty concise way of doing it. The syntax there is a little confusing. It's difficult to memorize, but if you create a flashcard or something like that, you probably could memorize that. And then what takes us to our third way of doing it here is the map.getOrDefault, which is probably the most straightforward for me to remember. Anyways, same thing. We loop through a char array, and then we have a frequency map here. We do a put. We're trying to put the char C, but then the value here that we're putting in, we need to do frequency map.getOrDefault. So the get or default will either get the value or you set a default value for that particular mapping if it doesn't exist. Okay, so if C doesn't exist, meaning we haven't put it into the map yet, it'll return 0 here. And then the kicker, or the most important part here, is this +1 at the end. So if we haven't seen this C value in the map, then we're going to return 0, and then we're going to add 1. So that's how it puts the default 1 in there. But if there is a mapping for C in the map, then it'll return a value. Let's say it's 1 or 2. Then it'll add an addition of 1 there for that mapping. So that is the 3 different ways. I can run this and show you how all 3 of them do work, because I have printed them out. So as you can see, the verbose method works, the map.compute works, and then the map.getOrDefault method also works. They all return the same thing. So really up to your preference. The first one is the most easiest to just intuitively understand, but the other 2 are a lot quicker to write. And if you just practice a little bit, I think you can memorize them. Anyways, that's it for me today. Thanks a lot.